The world was wondering where the Dalai Lama was. Well, we knew where he was, fortunately, because the two guys who'd gone in had been trained in radio communications. Of course, that was a great coup in Washington. They had to develop telecodes and so forth so they could communicate, and were able to get a Mongolian monk who devised the telecodes for them.
Gishi Wangyo was his name, and he lived up in Freehold, New Jersey, and he would come down and get to the safe house, and then I would meet him there. I would take this message typed out in telecodes to Gishi, and then he would translate the Tibetan to English. I mean, this is how many steps there were in it. The radio messages told us where they were and what was going on and whether they had encountered any firefights or anything like that. And then we kept tracing him, his route, the progress that he kept making.
You heard about the movie that they made?
Which one?
The one that they made of the flight of the Dalai Lama. The guys had a movie camera with them, and they'd photograph the whole flight out.
This was the best that was available to document what was going on the ground. And that was, of course, how they found the Chi-Com planes chasing the Dalai Lama.
There was always a great fear that the Chinese army would capture him. And if they had captured him during an effort to actually escape, there's literally no telling what they would have done with him. The Chinese became so incensed by the Dalai Lama getting away that they then started sending every available army unit they could squeeze out. Even though the distances were not huge. I mean, Lhasa is only, I think, 150 miles north of India, or something like that. But it's very mountainous territory, and there was only one road, and the Chinese army was occupying the road. So they went out far to the east, which put them through much higher mountains and all that, and it took longer, but it was safer. One of the Dalai Lama's great concerns was whether or not he would be allowed to live in India. You see, this was by no means certain that the Indian government would let him stay in India. The Chinese army was much stronger than the Indian army in those days, and the Indians didn't want to stir up any trouble with the Chinese.
I went down and picked up the message and took it back to Gishi at the safe house. The message said that the Dalai Lama requested asylum from the Indians. I mean, Gishi was shaken that he was so enraptured by the fact that we were talking about His Holiness. So at 2 o'clock in the morning, here I'm calling the chief of the division and telling him, and he says, well, great, send the message to New Delhi and see what they can do. And within 24 hours of the original message that they sent to us, we had gotten approval from Nehru for the asylum.